Excellency Minister Sandberg, for those remarks. Next, I have the pleasure to invite, for the opening remarks, Minister of Marine Affairs and Fisheries of the Republic of Indonesia, Her Excellency Ms. Susi Pujiastuti.
Norway government and the Interpol, who have been working hard to make this happen. Of course, my highest appreciations also to the leaders of Nordic countries, which in this event represented by Excellency Secretary General of the Nordic Council of Ministers. The statement by the Nordic country is an important development for all countries on the global campaign in encourage recognition of transnational organized crime in the global fishing industry. As everybody aware, the oceans cover 71% of our planet. We investigate in our combat to IUU fishing in Indonesia. We witness and we recognize the illegal, unreported, unregulated fishing is not only about illegal fishing, but it's more additional crimes is in it. From human trafficking, modern slavery, the endangered species, animal trade, and many other also threatening the environment and the livelihood of the marine's lives. And it is, for me, time to share our duty on protecting the ocean rights against any form of threats. The ocean have the rights to have its health and the rights to replenishing its marine's life, which is important for our future, food security, and also the needs of protein of our next generation to come. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, transnational organized crime in fishing industry is emerging as one of the biggest threats against our health oceans. This threat is not only putting the food security in peril, but also imposing negative effect on economy, harming environment, and undermining human rights. We learned in Indonesia in the last 2 decades, the survey that we did from 2003 to 2013, we lost almost 50% of our fisheries household. On those 10 years, our fisheries household decreased from 1.6 million families to only 800,000 families. We lost 115 seafood exporters on bankruptcy because we don't have enough fish anymore to export. And other than that, we calculate almost $20 billion lost every year. We put our tough measures on fighting illegal, unreported, unregulated fishing in the last 2.5 years. We execute our constitutions to be able to sink the boat or the vessel that catch illegally fishing in our water. And then what happened in the last 2.5 years? It's remarkably surprising every one of us. The economic growth on fisheries is tremendously increased. The fisherman household purchase power index increased almost 10%. And then the consumption of our fish on the national level is also increased from 36 kilograms to 43 kilograms, while we can decrease the import of fish almost 70%. The stock of our fish is increased from 6.5 million tons to 12.5 million tons within 2.5 years. So the recovery of its life of the fish stock is remarkable. And I would encourage every country to put action and starting the fight against illegal, unreported, unregulated fishing, because it's very profitable and very good for your country. We save 37% of our national fuel, which means numbers of $7 billion. So if there are people still doubtful, to protect the health of the ocean is very important for all countries. the numbers of Indonesian experience in the last 2.5 years, it says and states to all of us how important economy of fisheries for every country. I do understand there are many countries in Africa, Pacific, South America, who suffered from illegal, unreported, unregulated fishing, including destructive fishing. It's using bomb, dynamite, and poisons. But we all work together with UNODC, with Norway, Nordic country, United States, with together fight the illegal, unreported, unregulated fishing to the point that we will take this very serious, and we want that the world start waking up that illegal, unreported, unregulated fishing is threatening economy for all of us. 71% of ocean, that is 3/4 of our Earth, of our planet. That's huge numbers, huge portfolio. And if we don't start to do the action, and I realize this is the third symposium. I think we already did the same symposium 2 times. So I call in this third symposium, we should not just discuss, but we should start taking a concrete action and plan to be executed to make sure that our oceans, health, and the sustainability of the marine life, which is very important for us, for our future generation, is protected. I propose the fisheries crime is not only become transnational organized crime, but we also have to put the ocean rights to be protected, but institutions that we all respected. UNODC, United Nations, can do work join together to make sure that ocean rights is in place. So there is no more changing of politics regime in any state that can affecting the plan and the policy on climate change and any other on our policy to protect our environments. Transnational organized crime is not only from one country to another, but it's a global action. We are learning from 2 examples in Indonesia with MV Viking, an example. This vessel has 25 flags when they sail to our water. And they have been changing 12 ownership within 6 years. That's the proof that fisheries crime is a transnational organization running it. And we also have the proof that their communications are taking a place between the vessel to a very established fisheries company or seafood company in a very established country. So we do learning that there are certain borders that they ignore, and the practice is protected by certain certification, which mention it's green, it's eco-label, it's environment-friendly seafood. So we have to know and we have to learn from here. They try to falsify any documents and get any certification to be certified as a proper and organic seafood, but it is coming from illegal catch. And we are also learned that Spanish government can impose the penalty to this owner of the vessel, almost 6 million euro. We also learned from Huali that finally Argentina government can impose penalty to this vessel. So this expert panel also mean able to mainstream fisheries crime into global policy, provide recommendation for country to be internalized in their national law, and assist transnational organized fisheries crime cases which is required support. I would appreciate, and we take an agreement with Minister Per Sandberg to be agreed to take the initiative to establish an international fisheries crime expert panel. We expect from this expert panel we can further discuss and study to get more support for the country that's needed. And I do believe we also must strengthen our enforcement officer through capacity building and training. That's also now we do with the Indonesian Fish Force International Academy of Indonesia, which aim to be the regional center for capacity building and enforcement training to support the fight against transnational organized fisheries crime, especially to ASEAN and South Pacific countries. I invite all of you to be involved and invest to the establishment of International Fish Force Academy of Indonesia. And I hope this event can deliver actionable solution for immediate executions. And I'm looking forward for the session we have over the next 2 days. Thank you.
Could we maybe just join them? Like in the middle, there's still a bunch of spaces I can see, so maybe we can just, whoever wants to be on the photo, can just join in.
Let me begin by recalling the results of the previous first and second symposiums. The first international symposium on fisheries crime in Cape Town, South Africa, has been the start of an important global discussion on how we define fisheries crime, its concept, and cases that show the transnational nature of fisheries crime. More importantly, it has produced a general consensus to promote international partnership and cooperation in the fight against fisheries crime. The second International Symposium on Fisheries Crime in Yogyakarta, Indonesia, highlights the wide range of crimes and offenses that occurs along the entire fisheries supply and value chain, both on shore and at sea. As such, it stresses the need to apply multi-legal regime approach to effectively tackle these crimes. Further, the recommendation of the second symposium also addresses how best the international community should cooperatively respond to transnational organized fisheries crime. To reflect on where we are now, I would like to make some brief remarks on several progress we have made during these past 2 years. The effort to build alliances in the fight against fisheries crime has grown from bilaterally exclusive alliance to international fisheries crime working group coordinated by Interpol. We have instigated joint investigation against fisheries crime, among others, under the Multilateral Investigation Support Team, MIST, between Norway, Canada, and Indonesia to address the vessel Viking, and a joint investigative operation coordinated by Interpol in the Thunder case. Promoting transnational organized fisheries crime in the international arena has started to overcome misunderstandings on transnational organized crime in the global fishing industry with a new concept of fisheries crime. Capacity building initiatives against fisheries crime has expanded its outreach from bilaterally exclusive training programs to global training programs for enforcement officers through establishment of the International Fish Force Academy in both countries, South Africa, Indonesia, and possibly will be established in other continents. The increasing awareness of fisheries crime has also prompted a shift in enforcement approach from single or legal regime or single door to multi-legal regime or multi-dole approach, and lenient administrative sanctions to severe administrative and criminal punishment or sanctions. However, as mentioned in the UNODC report, Stretching the Fishnet identified opportunities to address fisheries crime, which was launched in the UN Ocean Conference in New York months ago. This is the report. The number of the successes in investigating, prosecuting fisheries crime appears to be fairly low. What we can do next to drive our way forward in the fight against fisheries crimes, which includes strengthening international commitment to advocate transnational organized fisheries crime in international forums, including by gaining support from countries on the draft resolutions of the upcoming CCPCJ sessions. Second, establishment of international fisheries crime expert panel, as mentioned by Excellency Minister Pierre Sander, to improve understanding how fisheries crime manifests itself, and to provide recommendation on actions to combat fisheries crime, and to provide expert assistance for countries in fighting against transnational organized fisheries crime. Third, to continue facilitating multilateral investigation support team to foster enforcement responses on fisheries crime cases. Fourth, to encourage countries to establish integrated criminal justice scheme. For example, it is conducted by the Indonesian government by establishing Task Force 115 as a one-roof enforcement system. Fifth, tailor our national legislation that can ensure effective investigation and prosecution against fisheries crime. National legislation reform. Six, active involvement of countries in the global capacity building initiative for enforcement officers through the establishment of the International Fish Force Academy, both in South Africa, Indonesia, and possibly in other regions. Lastly, improving global access to database of fisheries crime cases to help identify and analyze a case and to obtain evidences to successfully prosecute fisheries crime. I believe this year's symposium can further the outcome of the previous symposiums in the form of develop concrete action in combating fisheries crime, conducting deeper analysis on lessons learned from various fisheries crime cases, and develop strategy to effectively advocate transnational organized fisheries crime in international forums. Thank you very much.